Welcome back to another episode of Quarantined in the Kitchen. I'm Avery, and today we're going to make my favorite recipe of banana bread. You've probably tried at least one recipe in this quarantine, but I'm here to give you the very last one that you'll ever need. It's perfect, batch after batch, and I never have to worry about anything ahead of time. I do like starting from frozen bananas, so once those bananas are good and overripe, stuff them into a plastic bag. That's a big tip. Put them in a plastic bag, peeled. You don't want to have to peel a frozen banana. It gets really slimy and gross. And I heard somewhere that there's actually some kind of like weird toxin in the peel of the banana. Who knows about that? But I don't want to risk it. It's easier that way. So stuff them in a plastic bag, freeze them, and then the night before, put them in your fridge or on the counter a couple hours before so that they can thaw. We're ready to go. We're going to start with a cup of sugar. What I have here is half a cup of brown sugar and half a cup of coconut sugar. If you wanted, you could use a full cup of coconut sugar. But if you did want to go full cane sugar, I would say half a cup of white and half a cup of brown sugar. Once you have those in a bowl, you're going to add a half a cup of melted butter, which is basically one stick. It is a stick. Once the sugar and the butter are together, go ahead and mix it up. It's going to get clumpy at first, and it's going to look kind of like dirt. But that's kind of what we're going for. If there's any clumps of the sugar that don't want to break up, go ahead and give them a little squish with your spatula. See? Looks like dirt. Once you have the sugar and butter combined, we're going to add 2 eggs, one at a time. Go ahead and crack your egg into the bowl, and then go ahead and mix that. Oops, a little shell. As you beat the egg into the sugar and the butter, you'll see that it gets a little lighter and starts to look more uniform. And once it's combined, you can go ahead and add the next egg. Go ahead and beat that egg in until it's nice and uniform. Our eggs are added to the sugar. Let's go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Incorporate that. And now we're going to add our dry ingredients. In the dry ingredients, we have a cup and a half of all-purpose flour, and here you could definitely mix it around. If you wanted to use whole wheat or any alternative flour, it could totally work instead, but use 1.5 cups for sure. We've got a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, and we have 1 full teaspoon of baking soda. So we're going to go ahead and add this in 3 parts. So first, go ahead and nudge in about 1/3 of your dry ingredients, and we're going to lightly kind of fold and turn this in. This fold and turn is allowing us to incorporate the flour and the butter and sugar, but we're not overworking it, and we're going to create a lighter, cakey texture to the banana bread rather than a chewy, bready texture. Once it's mostly combined, and there are still a few raw flour chunks, that's cool. We're going to go ahead and add another 1/3. Again, folding and slowly turning it in, not overworking the flour. You can get a little bit more vigorous here as it starts to get a little bit more sticky. And again, doesn't have to be fully combined when you go ahead and add the rest of the flour mixture. Our last 1/3 is in the bowl, and we're going to go ahead and incorporate that. So it's really getting sticky and thick, so I'm going to get a little bit more vigorous, but whoops, I spilled a little over the side, so be careful. I'm using a little bit of my wet spatula to scrape the side of the bowl to get any flour that remains. There's a few chunks here and there that aren't fully incorporated, but we've still got a couple more things to add. The last 2 things that we're going to add are the bananas and the sour cream. And the reason why we didn't add these at the beginning with the other wet ingredients is that these are very acidic. And when the acid combines with the baking soda, it's going to create a chemical reaction that starts producing lots of bubbles. So we don't want to add those too soon because it will start to foam up and fluff up. And if it's not baking at the same time, that's all going to get lost when we pour it into the pan and then we bake it. So we really want that to go right into the oven after we combine those ingredients. If I hadn't already mentioned it, now is a really good time to pause and grease your cake pan. I've already gone ahead and greased this cake pan. I greased it with a little coconut oil. You could use butter or anything else, and I have it ready to go. What we have here are 3 bananas. They got almost to the point of rotten. I peeled them, I froze them, and I thawed them. They get really juicy when they thaw, but I like to keep some of that juice. So in here's 3 bananas and the juice that they excreted as they thawed, and I've mashed them up, but not too finely. I do like some chunks, and I'm going to go ahead and pour that in. I'm also going to go ahead and add a half a cup of sour cream. You could use Greek yogurt. You could use a dairy alternative yogurt. So go ahead and add this in at the same time as the bananas. And now just stir that in together. You can be pretty vigorous here. You want to get everything nice and combined. This is the time where we want it to look uniform. Every couple of seconds, I turn the bowl so that I'm hitting a different area. All right, that looks great. Take it to your prepared pan and go ahead and pour it in. This is the tiniest spatula. Once it's all in the pan, I do like to give it a nice little spread. Banana bread's in the pan and it's going in the oven. 350 degrees for 55 minutes, and then we'll check it. See you in 55 minutes. Welcome back. It's been 55 minutes. I don't know what you did, but I chilled out a bit since we last saw each other. The sun set, the lighting might be different. I went in at 55 minutes to check the banana bread, and when I stuck my knife in, it came out soupy, raw. So I went ahead and set a 10-minute timer, came back in 10 minutes, and now it's perfect. I can stick my knife in and nothing is coming out. I can run my fingers and trace them out. Nothing. So I'm gonna let it sit for a couple more minutes while it loosens from the sides naturally. And then I'll put it out on a wire rack and let it cool for about another 5 minutes because I'm ready to dig in. When it's sat for a little bit, I'll go ahead and run my knife down the sides. So satisfying. I'll turn it out onto a wire rack. Boop. Flip it over. Ooh, hot. We'll let it cool for a couple minutes before we cut into it. It's cooled for a couple minutes and I'm ready to dig in. We could eat this side piece, but I really want a slightly more centered piece, so I'll cut off just a little bit on the side. Ooh. Still steamy. I love my banana bread fresh, but if I want to eat a little bit older banana bread, I might toast it a little bit. Sometimes a little butter in a pan is delicious. Let's go ahead and try it. So I didn't let it rest for the 10 minutes I said I was supposed to, and it's very hot. Kind of hard to tell the flavors, banana, vanilla, flour, sugar. They're kind of all just like so warm you can't even tell what's going on. But later I know it's going to be so good. I know you're going to love it. So many people have told me that they've tried the cookie recipe, and I really hope you try the banana recipe too. Please let me know if there's any recipes you want me to try because I'm excited to bring this to you again soon. Peace out. Bye. 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 Bye.